Hey everybody, Jane here, and today I'm doing a review on the book Heartstopper. This is a mystery slash thriller about a small town where girls are being murdered. I read this in April, and I ended up giving it a 3 out of 5. I had a lot of mixed feelings about this book. So, one thing that is a huge important topic in this book is bodies. There is a lot of stuff in it that kind of bothered me. We have a lot of people making judgments about other people's bodies. We have a character who is anorexic because her father has said some negative things about her weight. And while it is so important, and like looks is the reason that the victims are chosen, we find out fairly early. The people being chosen to be killed are pretty women. They are heartstoppers. They are, women who are lovely, and that's who the killer is choosing to kill. And I got it. And I got why there was so much discussion of looks and bodies, but some of it really kind of grossed me out and disgusted me. There's one character who's had some plastic surgery, and the way she talked about, I found really offensive. Obviously some negativity about obese characters, just a lot of really complex things about bodies, but not a lot on the other side of things of, loving yourself. The book was not about learning to love yourself or any kind of thing involving that so much as it was, look at everything wrong with all these bodies, and we're killing the people who don't have issues that we can see, that we acknowledge with their bodies, the people who are heartstoppers, people who are pretty. As somebody who has been in the world of, complex body image, I had a really hard time with some of the stuff in this book involving bodies. And again, I'm not talking like body gore, body horror. I'm talking, a lot of discussion about breasts, a lot of discussions about people being pretty, people being ugly, natural breasts versus, surgical breasts and enhancement and everything else. And the value that we place on people based almost entirely on their looks and not any of the other aspects of who they are. So there's a lot of discussion in this book. And like I said, I think I appreciated that the discussion happened. I just didn't always appreciate how it was done. I felt like it wasn't always done well. So there was that. I felt like in this book, all the men were terrible. And I really hate books where any specific group of people are labeled as terrible. And we even have a known male point of view, and that is the mayor. And the sheriff, I'm sorry. And he's kind of horrible too. Like, we're in his perspective, and we learn that, he's been kind of unfaithful to his wife. He's said some crap things to his kid. He's just not a very good person. And we have another character who we follow who is a teacher at the school where where a student has disappeared. And she is recently separated from her husband and trying to get in the dating scene. And basically every time she goes out with a man, they sexually assault her. Or try to. And it was so frustrating with that aspect. of just men in general. Her husband is terrible, he's the cause of their breakup, and then she goes out on dates, and every man she meets is awful and tries to sexually assault her. And, there's just a lot, a lot of all men are dicks in this book. And I didn't like that. I didn't feel it was appropriate necessarily to the story. Because I got that we were talking about body image, and I get that that is a much bigger issue, it seems, because of men being visually aroused. Men pick their partners significantly more through looks than women do. I'm not saying women don't like hot men. We do. But I think that it is harder to be a less attractive female than it is to be a less attractive male. Less attractive males have other ways that they can, seduce women and date and be attractive, even if they are not physiquey, hot muscle guy, whatever it is you typically like. I tend to like the string bean guys, tall and nerdy, but I know that's, I'm kind of a weird one there. But, even if a guy is not traditionally handsome, a lot of times there are other things that they can bring to the table. Whereas I think for women, it's a little bit more challenging. There's more a societal expectation that women be beautiful. I think I'm gonna start some spoilers here. So if you absolutely don't want spoilers, particularly the identity of the killer, I would go ahead and stop here. But I think this is a good point to bring in why that was an interesting contrast, all the men in the book being horrible. And I really have to reveal that killer's identity for that discussion to happen. So, in this book, starting spoilers, 3, 2, 1. So in this book, the killer has been writing a diary. And we assume, since the killer is killing beautiful women, that their motive is sexual and that they are a man. However, in an interesting twist, the killer is actually a woman who is not very happy with her body. She's an overweight woman who has been largely teased. She's actually a teenager high school girl who has been teased about her body, teased about being obese. She's tried out for plays and not had luck getting parts because she's not pretty, but she has a wonderful singing voice. And, she's trying out for these musicals, and she never can get a good part because she's chunky. And may I tell you, they told us her weight. She is 160 pounds. She weighs less than me. She is smaller than me. And I was just like, man, I feel like a cow now. But, significantly. She is significantly smaller than me. So, I felt so bad for her, but she's only chunky. She's not, obese. She is just chunky. So, but she's been terribly, terribly picked on, and I thought it was interesting that all of the men who you're kind of led into as suspects, because they're all terrible, are not the killers. It is a woman. When the men in this book have all been terrible, but it is actually a girl who is the killer. So I thought that was brilliantly done. And I do think that with the discussion on looks and her being a killer because she was teased about her looks and because of the way she was treated because of her weight and then killing beautiful women, obviously that doesn't excuse her, and obviously she's a little crazy. But I just thought that was a very interesting twist, an interesting discussion to have, etc. So I liked who the killer was. And as a matter of fact, at a certain point in the book, I felt like it had to be her, and if it was anybody else, the book had missed an opportunity. I just saw that had to be who it was for the book to really pack a punch. And it was her, and I liked that. Another thing about this book with the killer, though, because she was a teenage girl of 160 some pounds, I did kind of wonder about the logistics of some of these murders. So basically, she is trapping people by using chloroform and dragging them where she needs them, and she doesn't have a male accomplice. And I'm just like, I kind of did wonder in certain cases if this girl who, yes, she's 160 pounds, but she, and she does exercise. She's in okay shape, but like, I'm a big girl, and that doesn't mean I can easily take other people of a similar weight. Because you got to figure these girls, these women that she's kidnapping, are probably no less or no more than 50 pounds less than she weighs. And so she's chloroforming them and dragging them places. I have a child who is 100 pounds, and she ain't easy to pick up. And I'm an adult. And, this girl is a teenager. And like I said, she's kind of heavy. So I kind of wondered how much she'd really be able, if it was realistic for her to be able to kidnap these girls and carry them where she needed them to be. So that was like the only issue I had with who it was of, can she physically do this? But I liked the book's discussion. I really hated the man hate in it. I really hated that there were a lot of point of views. For me, I like to be focused on more like one, and there was just a lot going on that wasn't directly related to the story and was more like, men are terrible. And that was like the teacher dating. And then there was some drama with her daughter and her daughter's boyfriend, and all of the issues with her and her husband's, the teacher and her husband's mistress. And that does play a part because the mistress is actually the mother of the killer. And like her mother's body issues, her mother's the one that's had all the plastic surgery, end up impacting the daughter. And that's kind of like what drives her to be crazy and a killer. So I got that the discussions were important. I just would have liked a little more tieage to it sooner, or a little more, I'm not sure what, but I was just, it wasn't a page turner for me. It was fine. It was interesting. I liked the discussions that happened. I think they chose the right killer. I just kind of struggled because it took a while to get engaged. It was hard to stay engaged. There was nothing making me turn every page. I was just kind of like, eh. But anyway, this is Heartstopper. I gave it a 3 out of 5. It was fine. Let me know if you have read it. If you read it, did you feel similar to me? Did you like it a lot more? Did you like it a little less? Did you also wonder about the girl and if she'd really be able to carry around these people? I mean, the book does give the excuse that, well, her grandma made her keep exercising, so obviously she's just in really good shape despite being heavy because her grandma makes her do all this exercise. So maybe you were fine with that. I don't know. But yeah, let me know in the comments below. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. My social media is below, and I am a romance novelist. If you'd like to check out my books, they're linked below too. This has been Jane. Thank you. Bye.